All right, to kick things off, I just want to say this isn't any drama. This isn't any fighting. This isn't we need to fight Watchtower and not fight amongst ourselves. In order to fight, two people need to be punching at each other, and I am doing no punching. Just trying to clarify some things that have been claimed that I have said that are, in my opinion, I think factually untrue. And so just trying to clarify those things. Mr. XJW Caleb, if you're watching this, I have no ill will. I have no anger. I have no resentment. I wish you the best. So this is just a mildly irritating and slightly confusing situation, but I guess I can hypothesize that in some rant later on as we go through this. With all of that being said, let's clarify a few things. Also, quickly before we get into it, just wanted to say a quick thank you to the persons who sent this to me. I don't really track the things said about me online. I'm gonna be completely honest, don't really care, and I do apologize for never replying to your DMs or emails. Sometimes I don't even open it. I just but I decided that we should clear the air on a few of these things. But I do want to say, hey, it made my life a lot easier by having all of this kind of compacted. So it was easy to put together and didn't have to spend all day on it. Anyway, this first bit is something about Norway. So let's watch a clip here.
The state may still appeal this decision to the country's Supreme Court. This is telling. And as I hope that you realize, this is because it's pretty much impossible that a judge won't look into this, right? That the Supreme Court won't be looking into this, because this is pretty much a case for the Supreme Court. And in this article, the Jehovah's Witnesses even show they may still appeal, that this isn't even fully won. And I thought, oh, is this like journalistic integrity? But I don't think it's journalistic integrity. I think that it is so sure that this is going to go to the Supreme Court that they're even talking about this in this puff piece, talking about like how this is only about Jehovah and how this is like a big win or whatever. They're talking about this because they know that this is going to go to the Supreme Court. So when the Jehovah's Witnesses look it up, they can see it and they can be like, oh yeah, they did mention that it was going to go to the Supreme Court. But anyway, it does show more journalistic integrity at least, or at least more accuracy than what Lloyd and Wally reported, being like, yeah, no, this is basically over. It's all over. We lost, but hey, we won because the real win are the friends we made along the way. No, it's not over. Let's keep reading. During the appeal process, a panel of 3 judges. I get so pissed when ex-Jehovah's Witnesses give like misinformation or whatever, because I'm like, hey, that's my audience. You're lying to my audience. Why are you doing that? You don't know anything. It's not over. Like, why are you telling my audience that it is over when it's very clearly not over? Like, I don't want you guys to feel down. Yes, this is bad, right? This isn't ideal. But also, this isn't over. And it's not over until it's over.
And then in the comments, I'm sure I've seen this already. Also, why are you dunking on Wally? And he says, spreading misinformation. Someone says something or another. Wally and Lloyd reported on the JW's winning the appeal as if it meant the whole process was over, which is a lie. I just pointed out here, even JW.org, they managed to report it more accurately. It's all pixelated. I need to adjust this. And then there was a tweet that said Lloyd and Wally posted videos pretending the Norway case is dead and over after we lost. That is a lie. This is what's really happening. So I didn't even know that I was pretending. I didn't know I was cosplaying as the Norway case and that it was going through a dramatic death scene. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't even remember 100% what I said. So I guess this could be semi-accurate. I don't know. But let me watch my video back and see what I said. So maybe we can clarify this information. But I don't remember saying that it was dead. So anyway, let's have a look-see. The Jehovah's Witnesses have done it. They have won their appeal in Norway. Looks so much better. In a shocking turn of events and reversal of momentum. It looks like the only option now, don't know why my voice just cracked there, is to take it to the Supreme Court, which we'll have to wait and see if the state is going to do that. So anyway, I thought I'd give you some of my thoughts about the situation. So let's do it. Well, that didn't take long. What is this again? Spreading misinformation. Wally and Lloyd reported on JW's winning the appeal as if it meant the whole process was over. Pretending the Norway case is dead. Like, I mean, I guess if you say something within the first 15 seconds of your video saying that it's in the state to take it to the Supreme Court, and I've made probably 20 videos about the Norway case, and I think throughout all of this process, I've always said this is probably going to end up at the European Court of Human Rights. It's like, I don't know the exact legal process that's going to happen, but it was always going to be appealed, and it was always going to go to the Supreme Court, and it's probably always going to go to the European Court of Human Rights. I guess the entrance to that maybe was up for debate, but no doubt the witnesses would just continue to appeal until they could get to the Supreme Court. So it was always kind of going there. But I guess that's just a little bit of a confusing thing. I don't know how you could come up with that, but I guess that one's clear. So if you have been misinformed that I said that the case is dead, I didn't. Let's move on. Right, this next bit comes from Reddit. $500 million spent on construction projects. In a recent video from Wally, he says that the org has spent $500 million in 1 year on construction projects. I'm wondering if anyone knows where he got this number from. Did I not show the screenshot on that? Maybe I forgot to put the screenshot on there. I know I've shown it like 5 times, but yeah. Oops, maybe I forgot. That's my bad. Let's see. This next is Danny Lopez. I guess I'm to assume that this is Mr. XJW Caleb. In that video, he also uses bad math to prove that JW's in need got 400 USD. I certainly didn't. That's wrong, because I never said that. We have never seen anyone actually get money from this cult, and the $6 million spent on relief that they mentioned most likely went fully towards repairing Kingdom Halls. I'm pretty confident that at some point I probably mentioned it's my personal feeling that, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I personally think 100% of the money goes to repairing Kingdom Halls. I've always said that, but apparently I haven't said that, as it turns out. Wally has the same imagination and credibility as Kim and Mikey. Don't take him seriously. Okay, we're just telling people what to do now. Don't take him seriously. I'm the rule maker, and you will follow my rules. Don't take him seriously. And someone says he didn't say that they received $400. That was a hypothetical. Yep, correct. Again, money for relief work doesn't go to JWs. It goes to Kingdom Halls. Well, we don't know that for like an absolute 100% fact. That $400 number is disingenuous and gives Watchtower far more credit than it deserves. That 400 number is disingenuous. It's illustrative, but it's not disingenuous. I'm glad he removed it from the thumbnail, at least, though. Oh, boy, this is exhausting. Where did I say money for relief work goes to JWs? He didn't say that either. Select Panda, my dog. Did Wally not mention that $400 as a hypothetical amount of how much they spend on JWs who need help? Yeah, the point of that was to say even if they were to spend that money and it went to Jehovah's Witnesses, just regular people, it would be an embarrassing amount of money. Like, even if, I don't know, maybe a language thing, I don't know. Did he take into account that most, if not all, of relief work is focused exclusively on Kingdom Halls? You know what? I am so confident in this, I'm going to snap my fingers and play a clip of me literally saying that in that video. And I suspect as well that damage to Kingdom Halls is included in the money that they spend for disaster relief. They say that this money goes to help people, right? One of the ways that Jehovah's Witnesses primarily consider that they help people is by providing spiritual help. And the only way to provide spiritual help for people is to have a Kingdom Hall, a center for worship. So by repairing the local Kingdom Hall, that, I think, in their minds, is actual disaster relief. I would be willing to wager a significant amount of money that 50% of the money that they say they're spending to help other people, at least 50% of that is purely going to fixing buildings that they own. That's generous, because I really think it's 100%. Honestly, in my heart of hearts, I think 100% that they are just fixing property that they already own, or they're helping people that have insurance so that they can reclaim the insurance money and recoup their losses, which means you haven't spent anything at all. If that didn't work, I'm going to look like a real jackass. But anyway, that's why I said it's bad math. It assumes relief work is for JWs in need and gets a number based on that. I don't understand what bad math really means, honestly. Making a connection between relief work and JWs in need is falling for JW lies. And exactly what the leadership is pushing. Bro, you're arguing with yourself. Literally no one's claiming that Watchtower spent money on JWs in need. Hence the word hypothetical. This is what Wally said. Oh, a quote. So the people that were displaced or evacuated, blah, 2 nights in a hotel and maybe a sweatshirt and a McDonald's meal for a couple of people. This is nothing to brag about. Like $400 per person, that's not going to get you very far. That's for all the people that homes are destroyed or displaced. Yeah, but it's like, again, it's illustrative. Does this not falsely assume? No, it doesn't falsely assume. There's no assumptions being made on a hypothetical situation that I've created just to say that even if Watchtower is right, they should still feel embarrassed. Goes to help people in need and not to repair kingdom halls. This is kind of wild. No, that's an illustration. Okay, does this just go on? Does that illustration assume that the money will go to people in need, or does it assume it will go to where it will actually go? Hey, at least he changed the thumbnail already, since the previous thumbnail literally said $400 and a hug. Doubling down on that premise. No, I thought it was funny. I thought $400 and a hug is like funny to think about. Like Watchtower's bragging, like, look at all of our charitable work we do. And like the reality, even if they were correct, it would be $400 and a hug. Like that makes me laugh. Anyway, it looks like this goes on and on. Yes, it's bad speculation. The fact that he acknowledged it doesn't make it less bad, just makes it bewildering why he put forward a bad speculation and makes it obvious this is, like I said, not serious analysis and shouldn't be taken as such, which is why I said in my original comment, thinking that the relief fund goes to funding the governing body travels is also bad speculation. I mean, I don't think that's the craziest thing. Relief work goes to kingdom halls that need big repairs. Well, I am unaware that that is a 100% factual truth, that every single 100% of the dollars that they claim all go to kingdom halls. Apparently, I'm missing some information. Apparently, we know that this is a factual thing. I don't even really know what to make of any of this. Yeah, I guess that's just confusing. I mean, if you watch what I said in my video, it kind of speaks for itself. I don't know how. Well, I guess I can imagine a couple situations about how someone could come to an alternate conclusion. But anyway, I'll save some sort of rambling for another day. But no, as far as this goes, bad math and speculation and telling people that they actually all got $400, I didn't do that. He kind of acknowledges it, but kind of doesn't. So this one's a little confusing. But anyway, let's carry on. All right, this next one is about Christmas. This clip is a little long, but I guess I can just like edit a couple of things as we watch this. So let's watch this.
He's the most notable one, but he's not the only one. For some reason, many ex-Jehovah's Witnesses decide to relate Christmas to misery, and they think it's the perfect time to trauma dump on their audiences, even when they're supposed to be talking about positivity or jokes.
A year ago, I was very unhealthy, an alcoholic, slowly killing myself. And I would think to myself that I would never be able to be healthy. Like, it seemed impossible, just going a couple of days without the substance was just, it like the internal pain, the psychological pain.
And I think that can be explained quite simply. As previously mentioned, you do observe Christmas as a Jehovah's Witness, since every Christmas is a reminder that your group is unique. But since there's no bonding with family nor sharing of resources, then that makes you miserable in a way. After all, you aren't allowed to celebrate Christmas, but you are definitely allowed to feel miserable during it. And the only way to get rid of that is to fully wake up from indoctrination and see things for what they are, beyond the excuses that the cult gave you to perpetuate your feelings of isolation and misery that they could capitalize on. If you don't deconstruct your beliefs by learning enough and getting enough therapy, and if you don't know that you're still indoctrinated, then you will still relate Christmas with all of the negative feelings that this cult indoctrinated you to relate them to.
And I've let this peroxided, porn-addicted idiot yap for a little while.
And look, I'm nobody to say that this is the wrong way to celebrate Christmas. If that's what you want to do, then go ahead. But trauma dumping on your audience, or even on an audience that can't leave because they didn't...
Wow. That is, that's fascinating. What to even say to that? Oh, there's a comment here too, saying that while there's trauma dumping in the clip is taking that clip out of context. That is, to say the least. In that video, Wally's relating a life experience. Yeah, exactly. I think maybe I'll just play a little bit of my video just so you kind of have a little bit of an idea of the source material he was working with, so you can see how he arrived at this conclusion. It's pretty strange, but just way back machine. Sure, yeah, that I totally get that. But the thing I find fascinating is how are you mad and bitter that you weren't able to do the thing? And then when you can do the thing, you're mad and bitter about it still and angry. And I think this is coming from an interesting psychological place. So as a non-expert, weird little red hat wearing bozo on the internet, I thought I would pour a big old cup of yappuccino and give my thoughts about Christmas and ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and their view of Christmas. And who knows what will come out of the diary of my thoughts that flow out my mouth. But, we will see. This is just going to be podcast style, Wally. So if you're not used to it, I just start talking and we see where things go. So if things get a little bit scattered, you can understand a little bit how my brain works. So what is this sort of sneering that ex-witnesses will have towards Christmas? Well, personally, I think this is coming from a place that we're a little bit insecure about. So first off, yeah, as a witness, you cannot celebrate any of the holidays. You see other people around you and they're getting together with their family. They're getting gifts. They're taking vacations. There's just this overwhelming jovial sense where people are having a good time and trying to restore their faith in humanity, that people are kind towards one another, and that ultimately we're trying our very best to not be selfish jerks all the time. So that when you see that as a Jehovah's Witness, you are programmed to look at that in a negative way. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that for me. And instead of attacking it from the I'm a loser, I can't, no, negative, defeating yourself before you even attempt, I'm going to just be positive and do this for positive reasons. And it completely, and I mean completely, was a game changer. It revolutionized my health entirely. And bringing this all back to Christmas, sorry, I told you it was podcast, Wally, and I can turn the microphone on and just talk endlessly. But using this as a stencil for this situation where we're looking at Christmas and we're just always seeing all the negative. When you're as a Jehovah's Witness, negative. And then you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness and you look at it still as negative. And then you talk to other ex-witnesses and they hate Christmas because, Christmas sucks. And so you hate Christmas because Christmas sucks. And everyone hates Christmas because Christmas sucks. Well, not everyone, but I'm being hyperbolic. And it kind of snowballs, and it's all from this place of kind of just being angry. So let's look at the actual situation, the reality of the paradigm here, the whole sphere. Take ourselves out of the equation. And, that's one of the hardest things to do. Hold a mirror up to yourself, remove yourself as if you're a satellite. This is a time of year where, hey, you might get a bonus from work. Hey, you might have a week or 2 weeks off of work. Hey, there's going to be a bunch of hot deals and stuff. Whether or not those are real, leave that for you to decide. So maybe something that you really wanted, a TV or a new vacuum cleaner or whatever the case is. Might be a little bit cheaper, a little bit more affordable, maybe in your budget. You're just going to have some time on your hands, even if it's only a day or if it's a couple days, to just have to yourself. Okay, so those things, all of those things, like the actual working mechanics of Christmas time, that's not bad. Hey, I can work with that. You know what? I've always wanted to make my own cinnamon rolls. I'm gonna make some cinnamon rolls because that makes me happy. And if you look at it from a more positive perspective, instead of stewing in the negativity and thinking about what you don't have, that jealousy or that insecurity, well, everyone else has a family and I don't. Okay, but what do you have? Well, maybe you have some extra time on your hands. Maybe you have a little extra money, or, the things I just said. And if you look at it from that perspective and try to, with creativity, as a combatant to jealousy and insecurity, you try and build something. Then you start creating these traditions for yourself. You might find other people, your other friends that also like to bake, and maybe they can't travel to go see their family this year. Oh, you're just gonna be at home baking too? Oh, well, you want to watch Christmas movies and bake together? And whatever it's going to be will be different for you. But instead of automatically rejecting something because of the negative, maybe finding ways of where you fit in, where you can start building your own traditions. If you like decorating, maybe every year just get yourself a couple little Christmas decorations and start putting them up. And who knows, after a couple years, you're going to have pillows and snowmen and snowflakes hanging from the ceiling and lights outside. And that might be your thing. That might be your tradition. Doesn't require the family and everything, but if that's something you enjoy, or what if it's painting? Man, I'm going to just paint something Christmassy, or anything for that matter. And that's your tradition. Now I get to do my little Christmas painting. Man, I've been wanting to finish this video game. Maybe that's your Christmas tradition, and you don't have to look at it in comparison to other people, because what the idea behind just having some vacation time, some holiday time, is to do things that make you happy. So that's why I think it'll be my new outro, because I just said it off the top of the other day. And I thought, that was actually kind of good, is to spend more time loving the things that you love than hating the things that you hate. Because it's easy to fall into a cycle of hating. And when you do that, you kind of drag yourself down. It's like you're trying to lift the weights and you just can't muster. And it's not a physical thing. The barrier is literally in your brain. Your brain is holding you back. So like, we're saying the same thing. I like Christmas. I like decorating. I got the Christmas music going. I think it's great. And the whole point of that video that I made was, when I see ex-Jehovah's Witnesses struggling with the holidays around this time of year, was to try and use a little bit of creativity. Creativity to combat that negativity that you have previously associated with Christmas, and to alter your perception of it. That's all I was really getting at. I don't think that this is trauma dumping. I think using yourself as a real world example, and trying to, I can only speak to my experience. And so I'm going to do that. And I'm not your dad. I'm not your boss. I'm not your lord, your overlord here or anything. I'm just Wally. And I'm just trying to relate my personal experience of growth in seeing that there are people that struggle with Christmas, and they too might be able to see that experience and think, hey, maybe I can grow as well. That, I guess, but apparently I need therapy. I need to work on deconstructing my indoctrination, because I only associate negative things with Christmas. That's crazy. That's some wild stuff. Anyway, I'm on to the next one. Oh boy. Okay, I won't speak a lot about this, but no, I've disliked Wally since he defended a friend of his wife and wrote a letter to try to prevent the survivor from getting a restriction order to protect herself. There is a lot of missing context to saying those words. It's sure, you can construct things in a way that it's like, hey, Wally is an apologist. Wally is this person that wants to not protect survivors but would rather protect. That's crazy. That is a wild. And when I said I don't have any ill intent or anger, I guess this actually makes me angry. Some of the context, I guess, I don't want to talk about someone else's divorce publicly online. That's not my place to. But hearing that word is my personal connection with that. Is me being, you know what, if we're going to go there and, someone wants to say stuff about me, let's do it. My personal connection to that is being 7 years old, watching my mom have sex in front of me and then having to clean up with threats of violence when I was 7. That is my association with that particular word. And there is not a universe where I am going to be like, no, we need to protect. I'm not clairvoyant. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. I can only operate with the information. Oh, looks like we got a battery problem. Hold tight there, team. I don't know. I think I need to maybe buy new batteries. Those seems to be happening a lot lately. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that there is some context to this that is missing, and it is very offensive to insinuate or promote the idea that I am an apologist for behavior that I find so just disgusting and has severely traumatized me on a personal level. Like, that's a pretty messed up thing to insinuate. And I do get every couple of weeks a message that comes through that someone wants to know my address because they want to report me to the police because I was the one that my wife, or there's all types of weird messages and DMs and emails that I've gotten as a result of this. And I haven't said anything about it because I don't think it's my place to go and publicly talk about things that, again, I'm not clairvoyant. I am not clairvoyant. Was never trying to prevent anyone from getting a restriction order. I can only speak. All that happened was I gave my personal recollections and observations. And again, there's a lot more details that are just missing here. But again, we don't need to talk about this. This has nothing to do with me or anyone else. But to take that bit of information and say, oh, well, Wally, he just wants to support, that is a foul, disgusting accusation. And it doesn't make me very happy considering my experience with this. So please stop saying this. This goes kind of on, I don't have the wherewithal, and especially after that little rant, I don't have the internal bandwidth to even go through this anymore. So we're just gonna kind of wrap it up there. But there's nothing wrong with criticizing me. I am a flawed human being that makes mistakes, and I try and clarify when those mistakes happen. For instance, there was a video that I made about something that I misremembered or thought it was new. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. About donations and how Watchtower has started, in my view, tithing. I know maybe that word, to me, it's functional. I know, it's not tithing because it's technically not 15% of your income. I'm saying, like, does your church organization thing require a prescribed amount of money? That, to me, is functionally tithing. So I use the word tithing. Words don't have specific definitions, more or less they have usages. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. And I made that whole video, and someone brought up, actually, they've been doing this for a while now, since like 2018. And I'm like, okay, is that spreading misinformation? Because the claim about it, I guess I can try and pull one up here, put it on screen, whatever. Is that spreading misinformation? In my view, it's not. Like, if Watchtower never started prescribing a set amount of money that was to be donated to them, and through that video, I gave the entire history all the way back to Charles Taze Russell, and then, what it is today, just so we'd have like this full timeline. If they had never sent out any of those elders' letter, or never have anything that is near enough to tithing, that in my head, it doesn't make much difference, then yes, that would be spreading misinformation. I would be lying to people if I got bamboozled by some deep fake and I was trying to convince people that no, it's real, it's true. But we're talking about me saying, hey, I need to go and talk to Sally, John's wife, because I know that John had an affair on April 11th. And John says, no. You're spreading lies and misinformation. I had an affair on April 16th. You are a liar. You are spreading misinformation about me, damn it. And it's like, brother, so all you're admitting to is that you had an affair on a different date? That's how I see that. If you see it differently, that's fine. But in my mind, keeping that video up was still useful because it does create an entire timeline of the history of Watchtower's donation policies. And the only thing that's wrong is it's off by like 5 years. So the only claim to misinformation, if you're a Jehovah's Witness watching that, like, what are they going to say? Look at these apostates spreading misinformation about our organization. We've actually been secretly tithing from our members for the last 8 years. It's not new. Like, okay, cool. Have at it. I would very much like to see a governing body member try and defend and talk about how our apostates are spreading misinformation and they've actually been tithing. That would be very funny. So there's a lot of those instances. There before in times past, there's been like where a news story was developing and the new information became available. And then I was retroactively, so after there's new information, but I made a video about what the original information was. I believe he was saying, oh no, you are lying to people because you're not saying it. And it's like, no, the information was updated. And so I updated my information. Anyway, I could go on and on. Why is this? What is this? I don't really know. I can only guess. If I had to guess, like, I think that it's coming from a genuine place. I think it's coming from a place of like passion and wanting to do the right thing, but maybe some of the perception is a little bit off. Not to get into like a deep neurological discussion here, but your brain in certain states can actually bias information, and your perception of the world can literally change. I've battled severe depression for a very long time. And when you're going through one of those ups or downs, your brain quite literally has a mechanism where it starts perceiving the world differently. It's a truly fascinating thing. And so you can have a conversation with someone. Everything seems fine, totally normal. And 90% of that conversation is totally positive and nice and good. But when you walk away from that, you will only remember that 10% that made you feel insecure, made you feel angry, made you feel mad. And then you'll think, man, that conversation was terrible. Even though it was only like 1% of it, or a tiny little thing. And even that tiny little thing was misconstrued. And that, I have no idea, but if I had to guess, I think that maybe he is doing this from a place of trying to do the right thing. It is a little weird at going through some of this, hearing like the expression, my audience, my viewers. Like, dog, you don't own people. You do not, like, slavery is dead. They're not this is not a possessive thing. They're people that watch your videos. They are independent, autonomous people. They are not yours to keep. You shouldn't be telling people what to think, at least in how I see it. I mean, I can say like, oh yeah, my viewers and stuff, like casually, but when you say it from a guardianship perspective, it's kind of odd. But putting all of those things together, maybe just the perception is off. Like, even this video, Mr. XJW Caleb, if you're watching it, I highly doubt anything that I could ever say would be very compelling. Maybe you just don't like me, and that is okay. But I suppose maybe it's just best to just disengage a little bit. I suppose. I don't know. Like, what's the goal? What's the point? Like, if I do genuinely get something wrong, I promise you the comment section will be flooded with people informing me that I've gotten something wrong and I can make necessary adjustments and changes. But is a mistake or an error to be celebrated? Like, yes, woo, woo, Wally got something wrong. Yeah, let's dunk on him for it. It's like, okay. Or if he doesn't get something wrong, we have to just completely misrepresent the thing said in order to fit the agenda. Again, that sounds more malicious, and I do not think that that's what's happening personally. Anyway, for anyone that is been soured by my content that I make or anything because of any of this, I hope that maybe offers a little bit of clarification. I know sometimes people don't take really the time to like double check or fact check things. They'll just believe it off of the first rip. And so I suppose no one is going to be watching. Anyone that is soured off of that is even going to be watching this video. I don't even know what all of this is. Anyway, I just wanted to address some of that because, again, it was a mild irritation. I wish everyone the best. I wish everyone, success in your life, all of that good stuff. I'm done. See you later. No. I lied. There's one other thing I want to talk about. This whole concept of fake positivity, because my old outro was don't forget to smile. I've already explained this before, but I don't know how it keeps coming up. I say I don't know. I know exactly how it keeps coming up, but I have never been a proponent of telling people to simply put on a fake smile and just, hey, pretty girl, smile. So that should be you. That whole don't forget to smile, as I've explained before, is a artifact of me trying to retrain my brain, because I have those perception biases where I can perceive the world as being overwhelmingly negative. And every single day, this happened after I made an attempt to end myself, when I'm looking in the mirror and getting ready, I always remind myself, don't forget to smile. And that is a sort of platitude of remember to look for something that was positive in the day. There was something that happened in your day, Wally. If you're not just selectively removing those things, if you are honest about your day, you will find something that was positive, that made you happy, that was worth living for. That even when things get real hard and when they get really dark, that the fight is worth it, and that to be alive is such a wonderful, I'm going to use the expression, but it's apt, even though I don't really believe in that, but a blessing. It is such a blessing just to exist and be alive, and reminding myself to smile, that there was something that positive happened. That has always been the message behind that expression. And I will still get people, even longtime friends of the channel, that are like, aren't you the person that told pretty girl smile? It's like, no. Like, someone maybe insinuated that about me, but if come and ask me what that means. Hey, what do you mean by that? And I'm happy to clarify that for you, because I would never, it's insulting to think that, oh, well, you just think that people should just put on a fake smile because you're stuck in your Jehovah's Witness mindset where they just put on a fake smile even though everything's terrible, and then you never acknowledge your feelings. Like, dog, I am so far past any of that type of thinking in my life. I am way beyond all of that. I try and promote the idea that you can, with creative thinking, start finding solutions to things instead of overly dwelling on, not dwelling, just braising your lamb shanks in a soup of negatively biased information that you're taking in from the world. That at a certain point, you have to develop the mental fortitude to slow that process down, not ignoring it, not just putting it on the back burner and never addressing it, but slowing that process down so when you're ready to tackle those things, you are doing it with intention. You're doing it with a purpose. Okay, I am going to deconstruct this type of pattern that I have, this type of thought that I have. I am going to actively work on retraining my reactions to this. Like I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, so I was homophobic. And when I see two men on the street holding hands, it makes me like, ugh. Okay. Well, I don't want to be that person anymore. So now I need to train my mind and my body to not have that reaction of, ugh. Because that's what it does. That is a very real thing that I had to work through. And you do this with every single little tiny thing in your life. And it's not just, well, you just need to be happy. No, but it's learning to build tools in your mind to where you're not subjected to your Jehovah's Witness indoctrination anymore. And you're growing into the person that you want to be. You are creating your life. And you're not going to create your life if you are just braising your lamb shanks in the stew of your Jehovah's Witness thinking. And I've always been a big proponent of that. And it is endlessly fascinating how that message that I've been so clear on has become pretty girls need to smile. Blows me away. But again, minds are a fascinating thing. This time, for real, I'm over. Goodbye. Talk to you later.